tau tupuna a tāne nui a rangi. Ka piki te ai ki ngā rangi tūhaha, ki te tio o mā nono. Ka roko hina atura ko I o mātua kori anaki, ka tikinga mai ngā kiti o te wānanga. Kau te kiti tuauri, kau te kiti tuatia, kau te kiti aranui. Ka tiritiri a, ka popo a. Ka putu mai I ho, ko te I rā tangata, ki te whaio, ki te amarama, tihei mauri ora. Kia ora, thank you everyone for joining us today. We'll just take a quick pause for a moment. Cool, we have apologies from Mayor Barry. I'd like to move the apologies, seconded by Councillor Lewis. Cool. There's no other apologies from anyone? No. Cool. I'd like to move that the apologies received be accepted and leave of absence be granted. All those in favour, please say aye. All against, declare that carried. Moving on to item 3 of public comment. Craig, would you like to join us at the table? You know the drill, you've got 3 minutes, and if you can leave some time within that 3 minutes, we can ask you questions at the end. And if you want to let us know which item in the paper you're speaking to today at the start, that would be great. Thank you.
Kia ora koutou. It's the with regard to the district plan, a record of a district plan committee. So I'm the chair of Wainemata Rural Community Association. It's come to my attention that a recent meeting has been, video record of a recent meeting has been edited. So this is the second time that we've found that important statements and communications from the Community Association have been edited out of the record. And I would like to protest that the statements that the record of the committee are full and accurate is not correct. Thank you.
Thank you. Have you raised that with officers prior to the meeting, or is this the first time?
No, I haven't raised it with officers. No, that's not true. The first time was raised with officers. Okay, and what meeting are you claiming has been edited? The recent, I've been told it was the most recent one of the District Plan Committee, where there was a interaction between me and the Mayor, and the previous meeting was the request that the submissions of the review be supplied. Yep, cool. Okay, we'll get officers to follow that up and contact you offline. Did any members have any questions? No? Kia ora, thank you for coming in. Cheers. Kia ora. Am I calling any members to clear any conflicts of interest? Have we got any? No. Awesome. Moving on to item number 4, which is item number 5, which is page 7 of our agenda. This is a retrospective approval of a submission from Hutt City Council on the Resource Management Consenting and Other System Changes Amendment Bill. I'd like to ask Tim Johnson, Head of Planning, to speak to the item.
I have nothing to add, Chair, to the report that's part of the paper.
Obviously, another last-minute submission with tight government deadlines. This came through the Mayors and Chairs Committee, and then me and Councillor Edwards gave it its final approval before it went out. Do any members have any questions on the process or the submission? Councillor Mitchell.
Yeah, I haven't taken a look at the legislation itself, but our paper mentions from the policy statement that it prioritises unleashing investment in renewable energy for New Zealand to meet its emissions reduction targets. From your recollection, does any of that apply to residential solar, or are they really just talking about big commercial solar plants?
From memory, it doesn't apply to residential, it's the large scale, but if I can perhaps come back and check that for you, yeah.
Cool, no further questions? Cool, I'd like to move that the committee respectively approves the submission dated the 10th of February 2025. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Edwards. Anyone wishing to speak? All those in favour, please say aye. Declare that carried. Moving on to item 6A. Yep. Item 6A. I'll just suggest it now. At some stage, you can either do it now or after this paper. Might just be useful to get a quick update as to how the district plan review process is going. Obviously, letters have gone out now, phone calls, that kind of stuff. Just a brief update would be useful, I think, for the committee. If you want to do that now, and then we'll move on to item 6A. Kia ora.
Yes, happy to do that now. The district plan, proposed district plan, was notified on 6th February and had a lot of engagement or a lot of letters and consultation with the community as part of that. In particular, we've sent letters out to about 16,000 property owners that will have landed in the last few days. So we've started getting a lot of inquiries on the back of that this week. I know that some of those letters are yet to land. So I'm sure we'll be very busy responding to those inquiries throughout this week and next week. Submissions due to close on 4th of April. It's quite a wide range of things that inquiries are in relation to, but probably natural hazards is the key one that people are expressing an interest in, including the slope assessment overlay. Part of that will be because of how significant those issues are for some people, but also because most of the letters that went out to residents were in relation to either having a high natural hazard area on their property or the slope assessment overlay.
Cool. Did anyone have any questions about the process so far? Obviously, we'll get a full update once it's wrapped up. Councillor Edwards.
The 2 or 3 calls I've had are over the slope assessment overlay. Could you just quickly remind us of why that is significant for people?
So the slope assessment overlay is identifying areas that are at greater risk of slope instability than other areas, and it does largely identify areas where you would expect that to be the case. It is the sort of hillier areas of our urban areas and some of our rural residential areas. The implications of being within that overlay is that if you're needing to do earthworks as part of building a building platform for a new development, then you will need to get resource consent for those earthworks where otherwise you might not have required resource consent. So it is the trigger between requiring resource consent and not requiring the resource consent in some cases, but that's to ensure through the consent application process we can assess what the risk is from those earthworks. It would also be considered as part of a subdivision consent if you're doing a subdivision in that area.
Sorry, I'll just add, there is an information sheet that we've got on our website that kind of breaks it down a little bit easier to explain. So if you do get inquiries about slope stability overlay, then there is an information sheet that's a bit easier to explain. So please review, pass people on to there. And I'll also add, we've actually had some take up of the Friends of Submitter service as well, and I've had some good feedback specifically from one person about how useful that was for them as well.
Kia ora, thank you so much. Any other questions? Awesome, we'll move on to item 6A then, the non-substantial changes to the proposed district plan. This is on page 16 of our agenda.
I'm happy to take the paper as read, but one thing that I would add that maybe should have included in the report, this report is talking solely about the changes that were made to the text of the plan. There were some changes to the maps of the district plan as discussed during the District Plan Review Committee meeting on the 4th of December around some of the boundaries for the outstanding natural features and landscapes and associated layers. At that meeting, we explained how there had been some recent revisions of the boundaries of those areas as part of some site visits from our experts. So there had also been some changes to those overlays.
Kia ora, thank you so much. It's a really good report just to really reiterate the changes they have made. Obviously, some of them are very, very minor, but I think just in terms of our accountability and our oversight as to what has changed from the moment it left these doors till the moment it was made live, it's just really good having that transparent document that really just outlines everything. Even if it's full stops or spelling mistakes, it's really all outlined in this report. So thank you so much for putting that together at quite short notice as well. Do any members have any questions? No? Cool. I'd like to move the item then that the committee receives and notes the summary of the non-substantial changes to the proposed district plan. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Morgan. Any debate? Awesome. All those in favour? All against? Declare that carried. Moving on to item B, which is the district plan review committee forward program for 2025. This is on page 26 of our agenda. Did any members have any questions on the forward work program or anything from officers? Great, we'll take it as read. I'd like to move that we receive and note the forward work program. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Edwards. All those in favour, please say aye. All against? I declare that carried. Item number 7, questions. I've received no questions, so please join me for the closing formalities up on the screen. Mea karakia tātou. Unuhia, unuhia, unuhia e te uru tapanui, kia wātea, kia mama, te nākau, te tinana, te wairua i te aratakatu. Koe rā I rongo, whakiiheaki ki runga, kia wātea, ai rā, kua wātea.